Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is probably the 9th or 10th time I've made this tier list, so I'm going to try to keep it as short and concise as possible. There are a few spicy placements, like Yoru and Deadlock, for instance, I think are actually super strong, but let's just get into it. I'm going to start with all the duelists. So, Ray's going straight into S tier. She has a super well-rounded kit, vertical mobility, horizontal mobility, info grabbing util, damaging util, like she can flush out corners with a nade. And I think the biggest thing for me is how snowbally her kit is, especially her ultimate. When you get your ultimate on that third round, usually the Raze player on your team will get enough kills and enough orbs by third round that they have it. You pretty much guarantee a free kill on third round, and if not a free kill, a free bomb site, which puts you in a better position to win that third round and snowball the entire game. As a result, she's like the only duelist that can actually do this, and because of her kit, like being so versatile, there's pretty much nowhere else I can put her. Jet going into A tier, she's just not as strong as she used to be. Obviously, if you gave her back her instant dash, she'd be straight back to S. But I think the main problem she suffers from is not being as self-sufficient as Raze, or not having as much util to clear corners. Jet relies a lot on taking gunfights, where Raze can kind of split that responsibility with her team. You're still going to see Jet being played a lot on maps like Breeze and like Icebox, like maps where opping is very strong because she's the best agent for opping in the game, especially now that Chamber's been like hyper nerfed. But I think she's a solid A tier. Phoenix going to be B tier. The only thing he really has going for him against these two is his ultimate, which is good. And I think when Pearl comes back into the rotation, you're going to be seeing a lot more Phoenix being played. His flashes are strong on some maps. Generally, Phoenix is good, but you would always rather pick Jet or Raze because they have movement abilities. Reyna also going B tier, suffers from a similar problem. She has really good flashes, but no movement ability. And the rest of her kit relies heavily on kills. She's always going to be B tier. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Neon, this placement's really unfortunate. See, Cypher is super strong right now, and Cypher being strong means, as a result, that Neon is going to have problems because she doesn't have any way to break the trips. Her wall does no damage now. Her stuns aren't going to do anything. And even though she has a super creative kit, and I think there is a place for her in this game, and I want her to be strong, you see players like Binibu running her a lot in the EMEA regular season. I just think she needs changes to bring her more in line with these two, and that would be a good place for her to be. Right now, that change seems like making her wall deal damage again. Of course, you don't want to overtune the agent, since her base E ability is so strong already. It allows her to rotate fast, and it allows her to take duels like no other agent in the game. She's the only agent in the game that can really use a movement ability to fight with. Unfortunately, ISO's going in D tier. I don't really have anything to say. He's kind of a gimmick. The problem he's suffering from is having to shoot the orbs. Since you shoot an orb, and then you would get instantaneously traded, you don't really get a chance to take multiple gunfights, and that's what duelists are supposed to be doing. They put themselves in dangerous positions where they have abilities to help them escape or to help them deal with those positions, right? Reyna will have a dismiss, Jet will have a dash, Jet has smokes, Raze has her nade, she can peek with her nade, she can satchel, Phoenix has flashes, Phoenix has his wall, Phoenix has his molly, Neon has wall, Neon has stuns, Neon has a run. ISO has a wall, but the problem is it spawns too far in front of him, and it's really better for entry than it is for protecting yourself, since there's only one way, and that one way is forward. If they made his shields work similar to how Reyna's work, it would remove a lot of his personality, which is really sad because he's a super fun agent, but it would make him more playable. The other problem that ISO really suffers from is his ultimate. It's just not good. There's no advantage. You have 7 points, and it just puts you in a 1v1. You would be much better taking a 1v1 using ISO's Q, his undercut, because it's an advantageous fight. In your ultimate, there's no advantage. You will die afterwards, pretty much. If they made it so that ISO couldn't die his ultimate like a Phoenix ult, then I think you would actually see some play. I think maybe he would be high C tier, maybe even B tier just off of the ultimate alone. But right now, he has no place. Yoru's going straight into S tier for me. I think this agent is criminally underrated. Every single part of this kit is insane. You can just do so much with it. You can TP in, you can TP out, you can TP for rotations. You have 3 flashes, one of which doubles as an info gathering ability. His ultimate gives you info. His ultimate pretty much allows you to get free kills using a shorty. It's so good, it's so versatile. His entire kit is so versatile. Any more buffs to this agent will make him meta. The same with any more nerfs to any of the other duelists. He will be the strongest agent in the game, I can guarantee you. I think if you're not playing Yoru or you don't know how to play Yoru, now is the time to pick him up because you're going to get so many free wins. So for the initiators, Gecko's going into high A tier. We're seeing a lot of Gecko being played, especially in VCT Americas. The main reason for this is the wingman allowing you to get that plant down super fast. Also, his abilities recycling, it means you're getting an ultimate like 14 times a half sometimes, which is absolutely insane. Sorry, not half, I meant a game. His consistent output of utility is the main thing that sets him apart from the other initiators, and his ease of access and ease of use too. It's just super easy to use abilities. Sova, Esther, I think Sova's been a staple of the meta for a long time. The main reason is just that his recon is so versatile. It's a lot different to Fade's in that you can shoot it from any place, any position, you can fake using his abilities, and the reveal is just better too. Whereas Fade, you're using it as more a distraction, so that you can actually make some pretty cool set plays with it, and the reveal usually always hits because of how fast it is. Breach going in beta. The main problem that Breach suffers from is that he doesn't have any info gathering abilities, and so he requires you to have another Initiator or a Yoru or some kind of Duelist that's set up in a position already so that you can get information to use your abilities off of. His flashes are okay and his ultimate's really good. I think he's in a good spot and he's going to stay that way for a long time, so let's leave him and beat it. KO, I think KO goes into Aether. He has a lot of play on certain maps, like for instance, Ascent and Breeze, and I think that's mainly because of how strong his flashes and his ultimate is. The ability to pretty much deny a Sentinel on attack just makes attacking so much easier, and it simplifies the game in a lot of ways. I think in that sense, not only is he healthy for the game, but he's just, by default, going to be super strong because you can disable enemy players' kits. Skye's going to go into A-tier still. I think the reason she's good is because her and KO are the only two agents that really have the best of both worlds. Breach only has flashes and stuns, whereas KO and Skye, they have info gathering and they have flashes. Even if Skye's util doesn't refresh anymore, she's still good in the sense that you can use those flashes to fight with. KO's definitely better and Gecko's definitely better, but she's not bad, and I think kind of these three are interchangeable, although I do prefer Gecko to both of them. Fade, also Aether. All the initiators are pretty fairly balanced. I think Fade's in a really good spot right now. The two Prowlers are great, the reveal is good, you can use it to fight with, you can use it for info, and the ultimate is super good when comboed with like a Yoru ultimate or a Raze ultimate. The decay is very underrated. I don't see people talking about it enough. Same with the Seas, and on maps like Lotus, she's pretty much a must pick for quite a few teams. So that's it for Initiators. Let's talk about the Sentinels. Cypher going straight into Esther. I don't think I need to say that much. Honestly, his trips are just broken. His ultimate's okay, but the fact that you can get info on defense and you can deny players from getting to the site or delay them, you can do both, just makes him so strong and so much better than Killjoy. I think there's a real nerf that needs to be made to his traps to bring them back in line, and if Killjoy's still stronger than Cypher after we revert those changes or we dial them back in a bit, I think Killjoy needs some nerfs to kind of balance things out. Killjoy also going to Aether. You pretty much only have an option between Cypher and Killjoy for the real hard Sentinels, so you're going to see them most games. Killjoy's real use is on maps where plant denial is more important than kills. For instance, Icebox. And I just think she's pretty solid, especially considering her ultimate. There's no way her ultimate could ever be bad. Sage, going into C-tier. I don't think this agent provides nearly enough to even be considered a Sentinel. The play that she has on certain map, it usually revolves around her being set up like with an Initiator and a Duelist. I don't think you can just leave a Sage alone on a bomb site because of how fast the wall gets broken, and the tools she has to fight just aren't great. It's pretty much just the slows, and when the slows are gone, yes, you can buy time for those rotations, but you're not getting any kills. The game's still pretty much in the 5v5. The one thing she's good at is delay, and so there are only a few maps that she's okay on, but even then I would still rather other agents. Like, for instance, Deadlock, who I'm putting in Aether, and actually, I think she's quite strong Aether. I think Deadlock is super underrated right now, in my opinion. Now, this is kind of super hot take. This is like 200 degrees oven preheated take, right? But I think Deadlock is really strong because she provides something the other two Sentinels don't necessarily have. She leans more towards like Cypher, but it's the ability to fight and to delay at the same time. I think Deadlock has a real place in the meta right now, especially because of all the combos you can do with her wall, with her nade. I think players and teams just aren't utilizing it and looking in depth enough into her kit and what it can do. I think they're just looking at it super surface level because she can't deny flanks on attack. On certain maps, like Haven or like Sunset, maps where there's 3 bomb sites or maps that's really big, that can be a problem. But on maps like Icebox, where there's loads of opportunities for your crouch grenade to come in handy, I think there are kind of infinite possibilities with what you can do with this agent. She always puts up high kills when I see her in a ranked game, and maybe I'm biased because of that, but every time there's a Deadlock in my game, she's getting like 20, 30 kills. Something's up with that. I don't know what it is in particular, but something's up with that. This agent is underrated, and I will not have people sleep on her. She's gonna be picked more. Chamber, unfortunately, Chamber's going in C. Similar problem to Sage, where you're gonna see her picked the same way you're gonna see Neon picked, but there are just better agents. I feel like if you're picking Chamber, why wouldn't you just go Yoru or Jet or Raze? I feel like you're really sacrificing some firepower. The one trademark just doesn't do anything. It doesn't cut it. The ultimate is good. I think playing Chamber is more a matter of comfortability than anything else. And he also really suffers from a problem where if you buff him, he becomes the best agent in the game. So he's just going to have to stay in C-tier. That's the dilemma this guy's facing right now. Now for the controllers. I'm going to start with Brimstone. Solid beta. You can play him on maps. He's not amazing. The thing he's suffering from is that he doesn't have the ability to use one-ways, or the one-ways he does have are really specific and super hard to use. Apart from that, his kit is okay. The 3 smokes is great, and the 3 smokes, even though they have limited range, I think if you're new to playing controller, or just on some maps like Bind, like, he's an okay pick. I don't mind him. But I would always prefer playing Omen, and I think Omen is the strongest controller right now. Main reason for this is his mobility, and on top of that, his flash is just amazing. If you get hit by an Omen flash, you're pretty much dead. Like, unless you have movement abilities, if you're caught anywhere in the open, you're dead. His smokes are global. They last a good amount of time. You can do one-ways with them. And also, it's like a matter of comfortability too, right? This agent is super flexible in what he can do. He can make aggressive plays, and I think that just puts him at S tier because there's only one other controller that can really do that. Or two, but he's a bit of like a wild card. Viper going to A tier, I think the main reasons are because Icebox and Breeze, you can't really sacrifice playing Viper, so she has to be a staple. The nerfs are not enough to change that, and the ability to have recyclable walls just means that she's always going to be better than Harbor, because Harbor has to go and physically place his wall. He can't just tap a button and have it go up. Speaking of which, Harbor going into B tier. He is a really aggressive controller, and I think with certain teams like Paper X, they can utilize him well. But you need a game plan. With these other controllers, you don't need to tell your team specifically what you're smoking off to play it. You just smoke it and they're going to know. Harbor kind of defies the meta, and he's a bit harder to play, but not in the same way that Deadlock. I don't think he has the exact same impact. So he's B tier. Astra, going into B tier as well. I was hovering C tier for a second just because I haven't seen a lot of Astra played, but I don't think there's anything wrong with her. I just think players would rather pick someone like Omen or even Viper because there's more flexibility in what they can do, which sounds weird, right? Because Astra has so many cool abilities that you can play off of. But these cool abilities, they're hard to get value out of, which kind of sucks. Her ultimate's okay. I think on maps like Scent and Split, Astra is good, but outside of that, she's kind of a niche pick, a bit like Brim. Clove. I think Clove is A tier, and I think Clove is top of A tier. My reason for this is that their res and their heal, super aggressive controller. There's just so much you can do, so many aggressive combinations, and I can't wait to see more teams play it. I think that players like Demon 1, they're going to show the true capabilities of Clove. The res is, like, on its own, it's powerful, and, like, the smokes after death, super underrated. When this agent released, everyone thought, oh, that's not going to be that great. But then you get into 1v1 situations where your Clovers died on sight, and the spike is planted, they can smoke it off after death. It really is like having a second player alive. So they're going in A tier. That's it for the tier list. If you agree, disagree, don't forget to let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Brofist.